prajajana ranjana Gunatera vanachate Yamunatera vanachate Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravidakacharya also tells us Shimad, His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanarada Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shridharidas Thakur Vijay Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Vijay Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shaya Mukunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Mathuradam Ki Jai Jagadada Sami Kajai, Munamai Kajai, Shivat Kalasi Devi Kajai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrindi Kajai, Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Hari. All glories the assembled devotees, all glories the assembled devotees, all glories the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Kristaya Bhutale Shimani Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravadi Pacharni Nivashesha Sanyavadi Paschatya Jaja Tarni. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 10th Canto, 44th Chapter, Text 31. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ateshu Mala Varyeshu Vidruteshu Ja Boja Rat Yavarayat Swaduryani Vakyam Chedam Uvacha Ha Ateshu Malavaryeshu Vidruteshu Chaboja Bharat Yavarayat Swaturyani Vakyam Chedam Uvachaha Ateshu Malavaryeshu Vidruteshu Chaboja Bharat Yavarayat Swaturyani Vakyam Chedam Uvachaha Ateshu Malavaryeshu Vidruteshu Chaboja Rad Yavarayat Swaturyani Vakyam Chedam Uvachaha. Okay.
Ateshu Mallavaryeshu Duteshu Chabhojarat Parayat Svatuyani Vakyam Chedam Uvachaha
Ladies? All right. Hateshu, being killed. Malavaryeshu, the best wrestlers. Vidruteshu, having run away. Cha, and. Bojarat, the Boja king. Kamsa. And Yavarayat, stopped. Sva, his own. Turyani, musical instruments. Vakyam, words. Cha, and. Idam, these. Uvacha, hop, spoke. So translation, the Boja king, seeing that his best wrestlers had all been killed or had fled, stopped the musical performance originally meant for his pleasure and spoke the following words. So there's no purport to this text. What do you usually do if there's no purport? You go on to the next text, or you just... So several things I could say about this particular verse before we go on to the next text is that he was afraid, the wrestlers were afraid, the other wrestlers were afraid, and they ran away. But some of the music, even though it isn't described here, some of the music continued, but not the music from his musicians, but the music from the demigods who were watching the whole thing. Because during this whole ceremony, the wrestling match, the demigods were up there in the sky, or somehow or other watching, and they were having music and just like enjoying themselves. So this is a common thing whenever you have like some sporting game. There's always like musicians or cheerleaders. Do you have that here in Fiji too?
Yeah.
That whenever there's the, what do they call the druas?
Yeah.
Whatever the druas are. Whenever you have the druas or Fiji people playing, there's always people cheering, maybe trumpets or something like that. And even, I was listening this morning to a class where Prabhupada was giving about how before there was a war, he was talking about the Battle of Kurukshetra. Before the Battle of Kurukshetra, everyone would play their conch shells. And in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, it's described about the different conch shells that belong to different personalities. You know, Grandfather Bhishma blew his conch shell, and his conch shell was tumultuous, and that encouraged Duryodhana. You know, Duryodhana was actually getting very discouraged in the beginning. And actually Prabhupada describes that Grandfather Bhishma, he generally sided with the Pandavas rather than with the Kurus. And so Duryodhana was thinking, is he going to fight enthusiastically for us? So in order to encourage Duryodhana, Grandfather Bhishma blew his conch shell. So you had a tumultuous blowing of all the conch shells. And then you have Krishna and Arjuna blowing their transcendental conch shells. And just the word transcendental is used, which indicates that they're going to be successful. Grandfather Bhishma's strength is simply mundane. So anyways, you have this sort of musical accompaniment. Practically, I mean, even in mundane or modern warfare, sometimes they play trumpets, they have bands. You know, a band here in Fiji, the army has a band. They have a band just to encourage people like that. So here, in this particular verse, Kamsa is getting very discouraged. So he stops his pans. And the demigods are getting very encouraged. And they continue chanting more enthusiastically. Jai, go Krishna, go. Haribol, Haribol. It's just like a sporting game for them. Because it's described during Krishna's pastimes that they're actually watching all these different occasions and cheering, just like during the pastime of Krishna fighting in the form of Lord Varaha, fighting with Hiranyaksha. Then the demigods are just like saying, no, kill him now, kill him now. It's going to be the evening time when the demons get more powerful. Kill him now, kill him now. So they're cheering. So this is such an interesting thing. So it would be nice in the future to be able to watch Krishna's pastimes like that and be out there in the, as they say, the gallery or the cheering, whatever you call it here in Fiji. We call it, in America, we call it gallery, where people are just like sitting around in the stadium and going, Jai, go team, go team, go. So of course the perverted reflection of that is when all of you are attracted here to your Fiji rugby players. Isn't it? That's a perverted reflection. So we want to really give up our attraction for the Fiji rugby players, because politically that may not be so correct here. Then we have to be attracted to Krishna's pastimes. Now I remember Prabhupada, one time we were with Prabhupada in Los Angeles, and every evening Prabhupada had the Krishna book read to him. A different chapter from Krishna book. So Prabhupada especially liked these pastimes where there was the demons being killed. I mean, he would just like practically jump out of his seat when he was hearing these things. So I remember Prabhupada was listening to one pastime about this demon named Shalva. And if any of you remember, Shalva had an airplane. And this airplane, it could be invisible. It's like modern day airplanes. They could be invisible to radar and everything like that. And so Krishna was fighting. Eventually Krishna destroys Shalva's airplane, and Shalva has to jump to the ground. And Prabhupada is just going, Jai, Krishna, go team. Basically he didn't say go team, but just say, like you say here, isn't it? Go team, go, or go Drua, go. And what a name, Drua. It doesn't even sound mode of goodness, it sounds mode of ignorance. Anyway, so go team, go. So Prabhupada was in this mood, this like Kshatriya mood. So the devotees, when they hear about these pastimes, they also experience this sort of pleasure, So Krishna killed the Janura, Mushtaka. Krishna's making Kamsa frightened. The music's stopping. Haribol. So that's how we should feel when we're hearing these pastimes. Okay, we'll go to the next verse. I thought it would be interesting to mention that. Okay, next verse. All right, I'll just read the Sanskrit. Ni sarayata durvrittao Vasudevatmajao Purat Dhanam Harata Gopanam Nandam Magnita Durmatim. Kamsa said, drive the two wicked sons of Vasudeva out of the city and confiscate the coward's property and arrest that fool Nanda. So I'm gonna cite the Acharyas in their commentary, because there's no commentary by Sri Prabhupada or any of the devotees here. So, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, this is really interesting because in this book that I have here, and I have the commentaries of the Acharyas. That's why I have this here. So, because in many of these verses, there's no commentary by either the devotees in ISKCON or by Srila Prabhupada. So, this is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who is quite expert in turning the words of the verse around and having the verse mean different things. He says, when Kamsa says, drive out the two wicked sons of Vasudeva, he says it can also mean, give these boys of unattainable qualities the best position in the city. So in other words, sometimes the demons, they say something, and the goddess of learning, Saraswati, turns these words around. And when you understand them in a different Sanskrit, the Sanskrit's very interesting like that. You can understand things in different contexts. Then it can become something positive instead of negative. And then he's also saying, protect Krishna, the treasure of the coward men. Tie up Nanda, whose intelligence is perfect, with ropes of affection. So remember, the verse, the translation is, arrest the fool Nanda. So here he's understanding the same Sanskrit words to mean, tie up Nanda, whose intelligence is perfect, with ropes of affection, instead of the fool Nanda, but intelligence is perfect. With ropes of establish affection and relationship with him. And then Jiva Goswami, in his commentaries, mentions the two boys were evil. This is from Kamsa's perspective. The two boys were evil because they killed the wrestlers in the matches. Others should fight with the two, since they are the sons of Vasudeva. Since no one can defeat them, they should be driven from the city. This statement also confirms that the two boys had greater attraction for the forest as dwellers in the forest. So here, Jiva Goswami is actually indicating that Krishna is more comfortable in the forest, like we have Vrindavana, Vana. You understand? Vrindavana. That means the Vana of Vrinda. So Krishna's natural environment, Jiva Goswami says, it's really interesting how they're just looking at things from different angles of vision. Jiva Goswami is mentioning that Krishna's natural environment, where he wants to be, is in the forest. And of course, this is also indicative of Ete Changsa Kalapam Sakrishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, that of all the different incarnations and avatars, Krishna is the original. And not only is Krishna the original, but Krishna in Vrindavan is the most perfect. And then when he gets out of Vrindavan to Mathura and Dwarka, then he's more perfect or perfect. You understand? But Krishna's manifestation in Vrindavan is the most perfect because there's more qualities of Krishna that are being manifest in Vrindavan than anywhere else. What are the qualities that Krishna manifests? Does anyone know the four qualities that Krishna only exhibits in Vrindavan? Yeah, Venu Madhurya, Leela Madhurya, Prema Madhurya. And devotees, loving devotees. Yeah, loving devotees. So these are the four. So Krishna's natural place is in the forest, Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami is saying that that Kamsa is saying, send him back to the forest because that's where he belongs, which is true. They were his nephews. Nanda is considered evil since he had friendship with Vasudeva. Out of ignorance, Nanda is protecting my enemies. Capture him, but do not kill him. So that's Jiva Goswami's commentary. And Sanatana Goswami, let me just read. Wow. Sanatana Goswami has a large commentary here. He says, drive the boys out from our city, since they are evil, having killed the wrestlers while playing. This is reasonable, since they are sons of Vasudeva. They are similar to their father. The real meaning, however, is that they have proper behavior. So again, he's like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, turning it around. Being merciful even to the wicked. Dur Rital, because when Krishna killed the wrestlers, they got liberated. Since they are Vasudeva's sons. Forcibly seize the dairy products brought by the cowards. Making many offerings at once can cause problems for us. Bind Nanda with chains because he is wicked. Secretly, he protected my enemy. The real meaning is, he is merciful even to the wicked. So, and then he gives some Sanskrit. Crafty Nanda is absorbed in sins. He should be bound with iron chains. That's from the Harivamsa. These are quotes from different Shastras. Sinful Nanda should be bound with iron chains. It's from the Vishnu Purana. He gave this instruction because he was afraid of the cowards. For naturally, bad words came from his mouth in order to cause danger to the best of the devotees. We'll read another verse. Vasudevas tu durmeda anyatam ashvasaptama urasena pita chapi sanuga parapakshaga. Kill that most evil fool, Vasudeva, and also kill my father, Ugrasena, along with his followers who have all sided with our enemies. The interesting thing is that actually Ugrasena was not Kamsa's father. Did you know this? Even though he's mentioned as Kamsa's father, what actually happened is that Kamsa's mother, who was actually a little bit senile, she actually, one time, a demon came and he took the form of Kamsa's father, of Ugrasena, and he had a relationship with Kamsa's mother. So actually, Ugrasena was not Kamsa's father, blood father, although everybody thought he was, because this demon's name was Drumila. And Drumila had this relationship with Kamsa's mother, and as a result, Kamsa was born. Because Kamsa could not appear as the son of two devotees, like Ugrasena and Ugrasena's wife. So anyway, he takes after his demon father. So kill that most evil fool, Vasudeva, and also kill my father Ugrasena along with his followers who have all sided with our enemies. And again, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur turns this around. He says this verse can also mean something else. Everyone should take shelter of Vasudeva, who has unattainable intelligence, who has no superior. So like he mentions that the word han in this verse, han generally means to kill. It also means to go and take shelter of. Also take shelter of Ugrasena, who has taken shelter of the Supreme Lord. And Jiva Goswami comments that Vasudeva is wicked, Sur Durmada, because he switched his son for Nanda's child. He is most untruthful, Asatama, since he broke his promise to deliver all of his sons to me. Sometimes Vasudevas to Durmada is seen. The word cha indicates all those mentioned. Though Vasudeva is just his father, he should still be killed. That means Krishna's father. The followers of Vasudeva and Ugrasena should also be killed since they are loyal to them. There's another meaning to this statement, however. Display the two sons whose natures are hard to understand. In Mathura, bring Krishna, the treasure of the cowards, to the city and protect him. Nanda will not give up Krishna. Keep grieving Nanda here, delaying him by means of Krishna. Bring Vasudeva, whose intelligence is hard to understand. The same thing as what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur was mentioning. Everyone should take shelter of him. There is no one equal to him in purity, Asatama. Take shelter of Ugrasen and his followers who are loyal to the Lord. So, anyway, so in this way we see the Acharyas taking these verses in different ways and appreciating these different pastimes. So anyone have any questions or comments? Not too much for me to comment here, but questions, comments, problems?
These humans are like, they actually part of Krishna's pastime.
Yeah.
And so when they go to the next incarnation, probably these demons come up again. Do they have the same mentality, or it's
That's an interesting question. Generally, they get liberated, being killed, especially. Well, yeah, Kamsa does continue the same mentality because Kamsa is Kalanemi. Now, as far as Chanura and Mushtaka, it's not described who they were or who they are. I mean, they could just be like nice wrestlers who happen to get caught up in the whole situation and then they get liberated by being killed by Krishna. But you have Kamsa, whose previous life was Kalanemi. You know that, right? And of course, Jarasandha, who is Viprachiti. And these are demons from one lifetime to another. I mean, this is their whole reason for existence. Just to pose, and they know their previous lives. I mean, Kamsa was informed by Narada Muni of his previous life that he was killed by Vishnu. And Kamsa, I mean, there's so many stories about Kalanemi in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So yes, they continue. Kamsa will continue his demoniac activities, life after life. Yeah, Kamsa is not like Shishupal or Kantavakra or Kumbhakarna or Ravan or Ranyaksha or Ranyakashipu. Those demons are eternal servants of the Lord. Kamsa is not an eternal servant of the Lord. Kamsa is an actual asura demon. And he, along with Jarasandha and all these demons, took birth on the earth planet as kings or in charge of different kingdoms, and that's why Krishna had to appear to kill them all, or arrange for the battle of Kurukshetra. They'd all been killed. All right? Any other questions? Yes? The fight between Balaram, Krishna, and Kamsa? Oh, the fight we're reading now. Did it take place where? In Mathura.
the same Mathura that we...
Yeah, the same Mathura we go to.
That's the place where Krishna was born.
That's right. Same, not the same exact place where Krishna was born, but in the wrestling arena. At that time, there was a whole arena in Mathura. No, it's the same Mathura. Exactly the same Mathura. And that's where Krishna established his first kingdom before he moved everybody to Dwarka. You understand? After Kamsa was killed, then Krishna, of course, then he established Ugrasen as the king. And that was where Krishna stayed. Then we find that Mathura was attacked by Jarasandha many times, right? And so then Krishna had to transport all the residents of Mathura to Dwarka to protect them. But Mathura is Krishna's original, let's say, kingdom outside of Vrindavan. Because Vrindavan is Krishna's original, I wouldn't say kingdom, because Vrindavan is not a kingdom. It's not a kingdom, it's actually a forest. But Vrindavan is Krishna's original location, and then he moves everybody to Dwarka, to Mathura, and then to Dwarka after that. Yes, it's the same Mathura we go to. Exactly the same Mathura. That's why it's very important that the temple be reestablished in Mathura, Krishna's appearance place. That right now there's another religious building there. We won't mention what. I don't want to get into too political, but it's just like around Janmabhoomi, that there was another religious temple, mosque there, and that mosque was built over the place where Ram appeared. So it was important to reestablish that place, historically. Just like in many other countries, if there's some historical thing, underground or original, they'll destroy the more modern building in order to reestablish something that's much more historical. History is considered very important, even from a mundane perspective, what to speak of from a religious perspective. So it's very important for India itself to reestablish these holy places, just for the national identity of India. You understand what I mean? Because these places like Mathura, Krishna Janmastan, Ram, Janmabhoomi are actually just like at the very heart of India consciousness. And that's why they have to be reestablished. If you have a heart problem, you have to go to the doctor. And sometimes you've got to have a transplant or heart surgery. So right now, up until the modern time, India's had a heart problem because its very heart, the most important pilgrimage places, have been defiled by invaders. I'm not criticizing any religion. I'm just saying they were defiled and destroyed by the invaders. So it has to be reestablished as far as the national identity is concerned. Isn't it? Even here in Fiji, I'm sure you got some national identity places. Isn't it? Your first capital is in some island somewhere? Levuka. And so it's considered like a pilgrimage place, isn't it? You go there on pilgrimage?
I've seen that.
No, but it's considered important for the national identity.
Yes.
Right? You go to. So in any, even like in America, we have all these places where even George Washington, if he slept in a place, it's considered a holy place. Of course, a holy place for crows. But anyway, that's another thing. Said So for India's national identity, it's so important. And what to speak for the spiritual identity, what to speak for Sanatana Dharma. It's very important to have these places. So Mathura is a very important place. And it has to be established by a massive temple in Krishna's birthplace. So, anyway, we don't want to get too political about the whole thing. Because we may have a fatwa against us if we talk about it too much. So, anyone else have a question?
The Krishna's position in Dwarka, Mathura and Vrindavan,
Was different. In Vrindavan, Krishna's a cowherd boy. In Vrindavan, Krishna's, just has dances with the gopis. Krishna doesn't dance with any gopis in Mathura or Dwarka. Krishna is very dharmic there. He, in Dwarka, he's getting married. He's not going with other people's wives. He's not taking care of cows. You know, Krishna's just like, he behaves himself, so to speak. But in Vrindavan, he's very tricky. He doesn't care about the rules and regulations. You know, he's just sweet. The majority of pastimes are there in Vrindavan. That's why Vrindavan is called Madhurya Dham. It means the sweet place. Whereas, you know, in Dwarka and Mathura, then it's like Aishwarya. I mean, still sweet. I mean, I'm not criticizing, but it's more Aishwarya. Krishna's worship in all rights. You know, as a Kshatriya, he's protecting the citizens. So it's Aishwarya. What is Aishwarya? Like the Vaikuntha planets. Not quite as Aishwarya as the Vaikuntha planets, but it's definitely Aishwarya. Okay, on that happy note, maybe we'll end. Thank you very much. All glories to His divine grace. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.